In addition to tabular displays of data, as shown here in a table of descriptive statistics for our 2011 movie database, um, we have this table of opening gross, total gross, number of theaters, and weeks in release, giving the options that we selected for our descriptive statistics. We also selected the option to produce box plots, which are graphical presentations of the data, and it shows how the data is split and identifies outliers for each of our variables in our 2011 movie data set. There are other graphs that can be prepared as well. XLStat will prepare histograms and scatter plots. Histograms show how the data is grouped in non-overlapping bins, and scatter plots will show the relationship between the various variables, and we'll do both of those. The first one we'll do is a histogram, and we select the histogram through visualizing data. The icon on the Discover, Explain, and Predict group in the ribbon. We select histograms, the second item in our list. Univariate plots above is another place that you can do box plots. If you don't select the option in the descriptive statistics, you can also do them here independent of that. Histograms is the next selection, and scatter plots is the third selection. We're going to select histograms. The dialog box is fairly simple. There are several tabs in the dialog box. Under General, we'll select our data, and we'll go ahead and do that now. And we will select the range. You can also select the data types, whether they're continuous or discrete. We're going to leave it all as continuous. And under Options, we can select the number of bins we want to select. Bins are the non-overlapping groups of data where each observation will go in one and only one bin. We're going to leave it at 10. We have 100 in our data set, so we want to make sure that it has more, at least 5 observations in each bin. So we're going to select 10 here just to verify, or just to ensure that that will happen. There is no missing data. Our outputs will be, we'll get a summary of the descriptive statistics, and the charts we'll select histograms, and we'll do them as bar charts, and we're going to select the frequency as our bin criteria, and that's all we do. We're going to, and back on the General tab, I'm going to put these in since we've already have the descriptive statistics in the worksheet where the data is, I'm going to select it another worksheet for it to be the graphs to be put. And now I'm ready to go, and I click OK. And here is our histograms. They are displayed in vertically in the worksheet, and you'll notice that the worksheet tab is labeled histogram, and we'll have histograms for each of the variables: opening gross, total gross, number of theaters, and weeks in release. So here's our opening gross histogram, and you can see we have a lot of data in the first 3 bins, and then it peters out, several gaps in the data, and we have our outliers probably in these 2 groups, a relatively small number of them. And then we have this group around let's say $85 million to about $103 million. We have a group here where data falls, and you can see this is skewed to the right. In fact, it would probably be considered extremely skewed because it's got a rather long tail. If I put more bins, the tail would get a little bit longer. Here it is for total gross, and it mirrors what was in the opening gross. not a whole lot of change. Some of the bins are filled in as the as we get more data in there for the total gross and the amounts that each movie grosses over the time that it's in release fills out. And so we just have this one gap between about 120 or 112 million, or what is that, 312 million, excuse me, and then up to about 300 and so million dollars, 350 some million dollars here. Here's the histogram for the number of theaters. The bulk of them are around 2,700 to about 3,000 theaters, where most of the number of theaters for these movies. And finally, the histogram for weeks in release. And you can see the bulk of them are between about 9 weeks to about 17 weeks. And here's all the, under each histogram is a table to show the upper and lower bounds for each bin and how many data points are in each bin.